Hello and welcome to the latest podcast. I am your host, JP John Paz. With me, of course, is the special guest. He is a former WWF head writer, former WCW head writer, former WCW World Heavyweight Champion. He is Mr. Vince Russo. Vince, welcome back. How you doing?
I am doing great, John. How are you?
Not too bad. Not too bad at all. I know my Giants stink. Your Giants stink.
Well,
So
my Giants are hanging on by the chin on their chinny chin chin, bro. Actually, they're only one behind in the loss column for that last playoff spot. But yeah, bro, it's yeah.
wrestling wise, obviously, there's a lot going on. CM Punk got fired. There's a lot of rumors where he's headed next. Interesting wrestling world, right? What do you think about the Punk firing?
Hey, listen, man, it's Khan's company. Bro, and he's at the end of the day, bro, he's got to do what he's got to do. You know, Unfortunately, bro, it should have never gotten to that. And this whole thing should have been squashed immediately after that scrum. But I mean, obviously, bro, the whole situation was just not handled correctly. And, man, unfortunately, something that could have been big and that could have been huge and that could have really helped AEW is, that card is now out of the deck. And I think that's really unfortunate for the company.
Man, it's just crazy to think he was, their big rating getter. He was kind of their big merch guy. He was their big pay per view guy, and now he's gone. So I know they can recover, but I mean that's a big loss. This was like their big guy, their number one guy.
Yeah, I don't know about the recovering part, John. I think it's going to hurt them. I really do think it's going to hurt them. I think their audience is going to take a hit. I don't see how this helps them in any way. And like I said, bro, I'm not on Tony Khan's case in any way, shape, or form, bro. If he felt that this is what he had to do, I mean, that's cool. But I also do feel that, there are going to come consequences with the decision.
Do you think that he heads back to the WWE? I don't know about a non-compete or anything like that, but do you think he'll head back to WWE?
Bro, here's the only thing I'm thinking of. Obviously, from a business perspective, the WWE is making money hand over fist. They absolutely do not, without a shadow of a doubt, need a CM Punk. On the other side of that coin, though, bro, tonight is the first week that Monday Night Football is back up against Raw. Bro, I got to be honest with you, man. I see that Raw rating falling to like 1.3 million. And if that Raw rating falls enough, I mean, at what point does the WWE say, okay, we have to do something? At this point, they haven't cared, bro. I think if that show draws 1.5 million people, they're fine with it based on the money they're making. But when they go closer towards 1 million, I don't know, bro. I think at that point they need to do something drastic.
So he could be on the way back. You're saying you would bring him back if you were them.
I would bring him back, bro, if that Monday night rating really, really starts to tank with the NFL.
If you think about it, him, doing a Rumble return or maybe even before that, Survivor Series return because they're in Chicago. This is, of course, meaning that if he doesn't have a non-compete, it would be a nice little boost. They could do something big there. He could lose to Roman Reigns, do something, but elevate him to a certain point. Obviously, he's not winning the title, but he could still make them some money, do them some good business.
Yeah. Like I said, bro, I don't think they need him right now. I mean, if everything stayed status quo right now, I don't think they would be interested. But like I said, if that Monday number gets down to an embarrassing rating, man, I think they got to do something to save face.
I think Thursday Night Football, which has no bearing on anything, but Thursday Night Football, I think did over 20 million
Wow.
viewers. So
Wow.
football's back, and it back in a
Yeah.
big way. I mean, people are definitely watching it. So I feel like Monday Night Football with Aaron Rodgers playing, it's like, man, they're going to get a huge number on that.
Huge. What is it? It's the Jets Eagles.
No, Jets Bills.
Jets Bills. Well, yeah, I mean you got a huge New York market there, and of course, like you said, with Aaron Rodgers, bro, the WWE man have been resting on their laurels for a really long time, and bro, honestly, man, it's gonna catch up with you. I mean, sooner or later, weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks of phoning it in, it's going to catch up with you.
Why do you think they're phoning it in?
Because the shows suck.
How so? How so?
Bro, I gotta be honest, man. I'm watching the Attitude Era, right? I do a show on russosbrand.com every 2 weeks. Bro, forget about the writing. Put the writing aside. Okay? Bro, the formatting of the show. Let's talk about that. The formatting of the show, bro. That is simply a structure. That has nothing to do with writing. That has nothing to do with creative. That is a structure, and that is a formula to keep the audience there and grow the audience. And when you watch the Attitude Era, bro, that stands out more than anything else. Anything else. And they don't know how to format a show, bro. There's nobody there that knows how to format a show. There's nobody there that knows anything about hooks. There's nobody there that knows how you write a show into commercial breaks, out of commercial breaks. Stories that, just go throughout the entire show from beginning to middle to end. There's nobody there that knows how to write cliffhangers. The formatting of the show, if they just fixed that, they would increase the ratings. I mean, John, you just said it. We know this week we got the return of Monday Night Football. How does Raw end last week? Gunther retains the Intercontinental title. Period. End of sentence. No cliffhanger, nothing to try to bring the people back to the show next week. This is what I'm talking about, bro. This isn't about creative, good ideas, bad ideas. This is basic fundamentals. And I'm watching that show last week, and I'm like, how in God's name do you not have some kind of a cliffhanger? Knowing what you're up against next Monday night, how do you not do something at the end of the show?
So the writers per se aren't necessarily writing for TV, is what you're kind of getting at.
Absolutely not, bro. Here's what they should have done at the end of last week's show, and bro, I'm hoping they do this. And I'm hoping this is part of the storyline, okay? Bro, you had J.D. McDonough, I think that's his name. J.D. McDonough give Priest that new case last week.
Yep.
Okay? You could have had Priest put the old case in the garbage because he's got this new one now that's customized for him. At the very, very end of the show, all you had to do, bro, was show a figure, somebody taking that case from the garbage. Because the reality of the situation is that's the real case, not the faux case that McDonough gave him. That's the real case. And I'm assuming they're going somewhere with that story because there's just too much there not to. That's all you had to do, bro. Is show at the very end of the show somebody getting that case out of the garbage. Now at least you have some kind of a cliffhanger going into this week. But to just have Gunther successfully defend the title, I don't know what that does for anybody, bro.
They should have Dominic Mysterio take the other one.
I think they should have Finn take it, bro. It should be all a setup that McDonough got him the case. And, he wasn't thinking twice about it. Priest takes the case, chucks the other one, and Baylor, takes the other one. I mean, and I'm hoping they go that way, bro. To me, it's a very, very easy story to tell, but to not do that at the end of last week's show, I don't think there's any excuses for that, bro.
What about LA Knight? I know you were saying he was missing something. What is he missing? You don't like him as a main eventer?
I think he's missing an adversary. I think that's what he's missing. I think he's missing, Austin's McMahon. That's what I think. It's not the Miz, bro. The Miz has not been over in years. The Miz, they've done nothing with that character, nothing to freshen him up. He needs an adversary. If it's me, bro, and bro, it all depends on this. If they really want to get this guy over, the guy is Triple H. Start some type of an angle there, and then let Triple H throw the kitchen sink at him the way Vince did to Steve Austin. But bro, that's only if they want to get the guy over.
So what about Roman Reigns and LA Knight?
I don't know, bro. After all this with Roman Reigns, I would not have LA Knight as the one that beats him, bro. They need a young up and comer. Now, if LA Knight were 10 years younger, possibly. But I mean, what is the dude, bro? 38 years old or
no? I think he's 40.
40. Yeah. I mean, yeah, bro. You can't. So somebody that takes the belt off of him has to be somebody young, somebody in their prime that could be the future of that company. And like I said, bro, the only thing, that I think would hold LA Knight back would be his age. I just think he's too old.
So as far as 1998 is concerned, talking about the Attitude Era, the topic at hand, Over the Edge 1998. Before we get into that, just have a quick question for you. Shawn Michaels is gone. Obviously, he's injured. What would have the plans been had he not been injured? Would he still be feuding with Steve Austin? Would he be in this Dude Love main event spot, or where would Shawn Michaels be? Or did you guys not even think about Michaels?
We didn't even think about it, bro, because the writing was on the wall for a long time. All that. The problems that Shawn gave us leading up to WrestleMania, it was evident, bro, that hurt or not, he was gonna go home after WrestleMania and either get his head on straight or his attitude at that point was so bad there were not any plans for him after that.
So really, with Vince and yourself, I mean, he's not even factored in when you're looking at
not at all,
forward.
bro. He needs to go home. He needs to kind of calm down. He needs to rethink things. He needs a rest. He needs a break, and then see where we are in a couple of months.
Now, I'm not the biggest Michaels guy in the world, but if you look at talent level and how over he was, especially as a heel, is that crazy to say that he's not factored into the plans?
No, bro, because he was that much of a problem right before SummerSlam. I mean, right before Mania. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. His attitude, bro, was horrible. I've mentioned before, him and Vince weren't even on speaking terms. The guy needed to go home for at least 3 months.
When he was, supposed to come back, let's say, did you guys think like he's healthy, he's going to wrestle, or did you really think, oh, this is the end of him for 4 years? You know what I mean? Did you guys actually think he wasn't going to come back for that long?
We didn't think he was going to come back, but I don't think we didn't think he was going to come back for that long. But bro, I'll be honest with you. It was so bad at that point. I don't think anybody cared whether he was coming back or not. I'm telling you, bro, by the time we got to WrestleMania, like we just wanted to get it over with. Like we need to get past this. He needs to go home and we need to move on. I mean, that's really where everybody was at that point.
Kind of reminds me of the '07 New York Football Giants. Remember the year before Tiki's their best player, but he caused so many problems with the team. They said, he's gone, he retires, he gets sent home, if you will. The Giants win the Super Bowl the next year. Michaels gets sent home. Austin goes off on a rampage. He goes nuts and he becomes the top draw in the business. And you guys don't look back. It's just crazy
Right.
to think like you lose a guy of that talent level and it actually helps you guys rather than hurts.
Yeah, no, absolutely, bro. And I gotta say, and bro, again, I've said this a million times. Shawn Michaels was a different guy back then, and he'll tell you himself. But bro, he had a lot of demons, man, that he had to take care of them, bro. I mean, it couldn't have went on at the pace it was going on, bro.
When you look at it too, it's like a guy of his star power. Like, how are you guys going to do it? But man, did you have like that much confidence and faith, knowing that Dude Love, aka McFoley, he was going to be that guy for a few months, and that Kane could be a star? Like, you
Yeah,
guys had
bro.
confidence in
It's
all those guys.
just it's just again, man. The way I wrote was just let it organically happen, man. Just go with what's working. There weren't plans set in stone. We just kept kind of rolling with what was working.
When you look at this pay-per-view, and we're going to get into it, the buy rate is down a little bit, but it is on the 31st of May. I mean, it is kind of a weird Memorial Day weekend and stuff. Like, I know AEW does pay-per-views then, but to me, I don't know. You're kind of not going to get not to give an excuse at this point, but sometimes you're not going to get the greatest pay-per-view audience for when during a big weekend like that. But it is what it is. But it was May 31st, 1998, over the edge from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, at the Wisconsin Center Arena, over 9,800 people, and the buy rate was 203,000. I say that because then you go to King of the Ring and you jump up at 100,000+ buys the next month. So it's like Unforgiven was a little bit more than this, over 200,000. This one is 203. The next month is 400. Does that scare you at all that it was
Nah,
at
bro.
203?
I think a lot of it at this point is, bro, we're still in second place. So I
Yeah.
really think a lot of it, bro, is what was WCW's pay-per-view. You know what I mean? Because again, John, these pay-per-views were not cheap. And I'm sure, there were a lot of wrestling fans choosing only one. So if WCW at that point had a bigger match or a better card they were more interested in, I think it was going to I think it was going to hurt the buy rate.
WCW Slamboree 1998, which did have Hogan on the card, did 275,000 buys. So, I mean, obviously that does hurt you a little bit.
Yeah, yeah,
And Hogan didn't do all the pay-per-views then either. So I know me as a fan, I was like, oh shit, I got to get this pay-per-view. Hogan's on the show. I
yeah.
know technically it wasn't the main event. It was kind of a weird card, but still, 275 and then another 200, that's 400,000+ pay-per-view buys combined. So
Yeah.
it's a lot of pay-per-views to be bought, a lot of money
Bro,
spent.
I'm just curious, like as a avid Hogan supporter, like
Mhm.
how do you, I mean, how do you feel about where he is now? Like, what are your feelings about Hulk Hogan in 2023 and where he sits with wrestling? Like, how do you feel about that?
Not happy necessarily with the fans because they tried to almost make him seem like he wasn't what he was. Like there would probably be no big time wrestling right now at all. I mean, WWE wouldn't exist to the level they are without Hogan. So to me, I feel like he's almost underrated, underappreciated, which is insane because he literally not only helped the business reach a high level, he actually saved it again with the NWO, and then you guys with the Attitude Era with Austin took it to another level. So I almost feel like people are not appreciating him as much as they should be appreciating him now. And the fans are, I don't know, strange birds, some of these fans.
Do you feel sorry for him at all?
In what way?
I mean, just like, bro, I just kind of, and I think there would be a lot of people that would tell me I'm crazy. I think there'd be some people that would agree. I feel sorry for him because I'm kind of sitting in your arena that I don't know, bro. I just feel after all was said and done, I don't feel the guy gets his just due. I don't think the guy gets the credit. I think Flair gets way more credit than Hogan and is more beloved than Hogan. And I don't understand that. Bro, like, listen, let's be honest, man. Hogan's got a couple of black eyes that but Flair's got black eyes too. I mean, bro, when you look at Hogan and you look at like the two black eyes, bro, I think the two glaring black eyes would be, the use of the N-word.
Yep.
And what was the other one I was yeah, the Bubba's wife and all that stuff, right? But however, bro, Flair's got the plane ride from hell. You know what I'm saying? Which bro, to be honest with you, out of all of those, the plane ride from hell is probably the worst thing, bro. If the guy exposed himself to a stewardess and did all these things, but I almost feel like, Flair gets a pass, but Hogan doesn't get a pass. But again, bro, I think it's the wrestling fan in 2023. For whatever reason, Hogan didn't wrestle the way they like wrestling to be. And, they've labeled him so many names, a liar and a worker and a this and a that and everything else that I don't know, bro. It's like every time I see him, I just feel very, very sympathetic towards him.
There's two different things I always think about with Hogan. Everyone's like, oh, and I love Bret Hart. It's one of my favorite of all time. But it's like, oh, everyone wrestles like Bret now. Well, you're not making the money that Hogan made, and half the audience watches.
Absolutely.
So obviously, if you wrestled like Hogan, like, some guys are trying to do like Roman Reigns, he's at the top. You know what I mean? You kind of end up making more money. Like Steve Austin, when he got to the top, he was a punch kick guy. I mean, he wasn't doing the awesome Stunning Steve work that he used. So it's like there's a point where it's like, okay, if you want to be Bret, that's great, but you want to be Hogan, you're going to be making a lot more money to be top. And then the second thing is Ric Flair in a recent interview. This is so funny, and he even said it because he always says Hogan and Austin are the two goats because they made more money than him. So I totally agree with that. But he goes, in the '80s, my dad said, "You're not the world champion." He goes, "Yes, I am. I got the belt. I'm the NWA world champion." He goes, I don't even know where you wrestle or who you wrestle for, which is funny to say because NWA was huge and so was Flair and he made a ton of money. But he goes, Hulk Hogan's a real world champion. And then Flair thought to himself, he's like, you're kind of right because he makes way more money than I do. Like, and that's the business. And that's what Hogan always says. The business is a shoot because it's about money and I'm making the most money. So that's another thing too. Flair's dad is saying that Hogan's the champion.
Yeah.
Or, in the '80s.
So why do you think, I think it's a fact. Why do you think Flair's more beloved than Hogan?
The awesome promos, like people can go, the memes and the gifts, everything with him, like you go back and they can kind of live vicariously. And he was a great worker, quote unquote. So they love the work rate, you know what I mean? So it's just weird. I think they think he's so cool. They kind of want to be him almost. And Hogan, it's an odd thing, but it's almost like a little bit of a jealousy thing too, which is strange to me. You know what I mean? Like you're never going to be that big or that popular. And he has his own stores. He's got his own shops. Like he was a piece of Americana. They almost like have to like try to cut you down in an odd way.
Yeah, that's true too. That's true. Yeah.
Sad but true. Yeah. I mean, it's crazy to think that Hogan's not thought of as like the all-time GOAT, but thank God Triple H and Vince always bring him up and they put him in the front of every video because I feel like without that, I feel like people would even disrespect him even more, which is insane.
That's probably true. Probably true.
So as far as the Over the Edge pay-per-view, this is pretty awesome build-up because Dude Love and Austin are going to fight in the main event, but not only they're going to fight in the main event, and what you were saying before is kind of rings true here. You got to kind of keep stacking the deck. You can't just do status quo because then it's like, oh, of course Austin's going to beat Dude Love. But, oh, wait a second. Wait, Vince is getting involved? And this is the first time this ever happened. Now it's just commonplace. The guy always gets involved. This never happened before. Wait, the owner is getting involved? His two stooges are getting involved? Undertaker is getting involved. I mean, think of just the thought process there. Are you thinking to yourself like, okay, we just got to keep stacking the deck because that's good television or whatever? Like people.
Oh yeah, it's always, bro. You got to get people to watch, and this is what always drew me as a wrestling fan. As you get people, in order to get people to watch, bro, the question always has to be, how are they going to get out of this?
Yep.
That was a question I always asked myself as a wrestling fan. How are they going to get out of this? You don't see that anymore, bro. You don't see that type of booking anymore at all. So what you're saying is 1000% correct, John. You're buying this to see how are they going to get out of this.
A while ago, I was listening to Vince Gilligan, the guy who created Breaking Bad and wrote Breaking Bad. He was saying the very simple philosophy of how is Walter White going to get out of this situation. I
Right,
was thinking to
right.
myself, like, that, wow, that's so simple and so true. But
So
as you're watching, you don't think like, oh, how's he going to get out? You're like, he needs to get out of this. You know what I mean? Because you're rooting for him. Yeah.
Bro, I just watched the Attitude Era last night. Right after this show, I'm doing my Attitude Era show. This pay-per-view is 13 days away. Bro, I don't remember the finish. I don't remember anything. So I'm watching this saying, how did we get out of this? I mean, honestly, bro, because I don't remember the finish. And, here we are 25 years later, and me watching this, it's making me feel the same exact way. My God, bro, like, how the hell are we going to get out of this one? That's when wrestling is at its best, bro, when you don't know how they're going to book it.
And the thing is, too, WCW is starting to lose here. I mean, the NWO is breaking up. I mean, they're losing favor. So, I mean, me and my friends, everybody, we're flipping over. Like, how the hell is Austin going to get out of this? Like, whoa, Dude Love. Now, now he's got like a hired gun, and this guy, Dude Love, who's like hell bent on winning the title and kissing Vince's ass. And then he's got the Stooges. I mean, it was just really, really, it was great TV at this point.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you, bro. And like I said, I mean, again, I'm just telling you, bro, it's the formatting of the show. That's not Vince Russo's great. That's, as a writer, I knew how to format the show. Like any writer knows how to format a show, bro. And that really has a lot to do with it.
Where is Ed at this point? Is he here yet or not yet?
I don't think he's here yet. I don't think Ed's here yet.
So how did you kind of learn about like formatting and stuff? Is that just learning it through doing it, or like how did you, or is that something you studied, or?
Not at all, bro. It was just because the shows were going head to head. And, when I sat down to write every show, my mentality was, I can't get them to turn the channel. I can't get them to turn the channel, because if they turn the channel and there's something going on at WCW, we're going to lose them. So that was my whole mentality, bro. You can't get them to turn the channel. If you're going to commercial break, bro, you got to go with something big so they come back. You can't lose a single viewer to WCW. That's how I wrote the show. And that's how they should write the show versus Monday Night Football. They should write the show. They should write that show with the mindset of, we're not going to give them a reason to flip over and watch the football game. That's how they should write the show.
You don't want to miss anything. You can't miss
Right,
anything.
exactly, bro, exactly.
Why do you think for yourself, and we were talking about Hogan and stuff, but how come for yourself, why do you think that nobody will give you the credit for writing the shows and putting in shows together?
Because
I mean, Austin and Rock willing, those guys will, but I mean like the fans.
Bro, it's very much like Hogan. It's not the wrestling they want. They're never going to put it over, bro. It's very similar to Hogan. They're not going to put Hogan over for his style of wrestling and the promos and the big leg. And he knew, did he even know 5 moves? Maybe he knew 3 moves. The internet people are not going to put him over. The problem is, bro, that the people that beloved Hogan and that the people that beloved the Attitude Era and that style of writing, they're not on the internet following wrestling. They're normal people, bro, who do other things. So, of course, bro, we hear the loudest voice from the smallest minority. And it's always going to be that way, bro. That's why I say I don't give a shit what you say, bro. You nobody's going to ever erase the numbers. And I think that's what drives them crazy more than anything. You could say whatever you want about me. I'm the first one that says bro, when a wrestling company or a wrestling writer comes along and bypasses the audience that I helped build, I will be the first one there to congratulate them. But the fact of the matter is, it hasn't happened in 25 years. And I think that drives them crazy too, bro, because you can hype AEW being the greatest show on the planet, but then what happens, bro? Then the numbers come in. And the reality is, no, bro, it's a very niche market. Bro, look at what happened with All In. And I said this. Number one, I didn't doubt for a minute that they weren't going to sell a lot of tickets to it, because it has been proven in wrestling, if you have a big show, they will come from all over the world. It has been proven. So I never said, bro, they're not going to do. I never said any of that. I knew they would draw a huge crowd, but here's what I also knew. Guess what, bro? After they have those big shows on the weekend, they're going to come back to Dynamite on Wednesday, and it's going to be the same exact people watching the show. There's going to be no new people, no new audience. It's going to be the same people. And I was 100% right about that.
I was surprised. I thought the audience would go up, and it was pretty much exactly the same as the two prior weeks. And then I was looking at WrestleTix, which is a great, if anybody doesn't know who that is, they're on Twitter, and I think they have a Patreon. But I always look at them for ticket sales, because they have some computer thing where they can literally figure out how much tickets are sold, and instead of the old on hand where you're counting by hand, which takes forever. I mean, they have the system in place, so it's great. So I'm like, I wonder how much tickets. I bet they're on fire. And then I was like, wow, they only sold 3,000 tickets for Dynamite. I was like, I don't know. I guess you weren't, but I was shocked.
Yeah. Yeah.
So not hot, as Jerry once said to Morty about the planner. Not hot when he was going to give his dad a little planner.
Yeah, no, it's just bro, bro, listen, here's the bottom line. If the WWE and AEW don't care about growing their fan base and casual fans, then they don't care about casual fans. I mean, it's that simple. If if Tony Khan is cool with 800 to 900,000 fans, I mean, it's his company. I'm just saying, if it were my company, I would not be cool with that, but it's not my company.
Guys, you're going to brush your teeth today? Why is that? Because it's a healthy part of your day and you don't want bad teeth. I want you to take it another step and add skincare habits to your daily routine. I just did, and I promise you I'm never going back. I am hooked on Caldera Lab high performance men's skincare products. Told you guys last time around that first impressions matter. Your teeth and your skin are the first thing someone notices about you. Backed by legit clinical trials that found 94% of men's skin showed an overall younger looking appearance after using the products for only a few weeks. Caldera Lab is the regimen you've been looking for. Habit stacking, habit hacking, whatever you call it, Caldera Lab is here to take your daily routine to skin royalty. Take my word for it, or one of the thousands of 5-star reviews. And just for our audience, we have an exclusive offer. This is the best offer available anywhere. Use the promo code POWERTRIP at calderalab.com and 20% off right now. That's right, 20% off using the promo code POWERTRIP at Caldera Lab, and make an unforgettable first impression that leads to the charming words, "You look younger." 20% off at Caldera Labs with the promo code POWERTRIP. Get to calderalab.com today. So as far as Over the Edge, the first match coming out here, LOD 2000, which of course Hawk and Animal with their new look, with Draws and Sunny versus the DOA, Disciples of Apocalypse, 8-Ball and Skull with Chains. This tag team match goes 10 minutes. LOD 2000 gets the victory thanks to a little cheating by Draws. So what's going on here with LOD 2000? Do you like LOD 2000? It's kind of a new
No,
look for these
I
guys.
don't. But going into this, bro, it makes all the sense in the world because DOA were winning a lot of their matches by doing the old switcheroo.
Yep.
Like so now, so now Draws gets involved and LOD went, nah, bro. This is a mishmash, bro. This is like, bro, when like factions are being thrown together and it doesn't real. I still say that about Judgment Day today. Why are these people together? Like there was never a story that showed us why these people would come together. There was no bond. Bro, I think honestly, man, the root of the problem was I think it was twofold, bro. I think Hawk was having a lot of problems with substance abuse at the time. I think Sonny was doing a lot of bitching and complaining about Sable. And they had a guy like Draws that they didn't know what to do. When I say they, I mean we.
Right.
So you wind up putting all these people together to man, AEW does this all the time. They got so many factions, bro, just to give people something to do.
Yep.
But I'll be honest with you, bro. I think The Office, when I say The Office, I really mean coming down from Vince. I kind of think it was a punishment with Hawk and what he was going through at the time. It was a punishment with Sonny. They were never going to be featured again. They were never going to be over. So if we just took their past history and can use that to get other people over, I think that's the point they were at this time.
So were you actually going to get rid of Hawk and just have Draws and Animal be LOD 2000?
I think that's the way they thought it was going to turn out, that like Hawk was going to do that himself. I really believe that's the way that Vince thought it was going to turn out.
I know we're not there yet, but showing the Hawk stuff on TV and his real life problems, is that your idea, their idea? I mean,
no,
why?
bro, I'll be honest with you, man. That's my idea. Because, John, I really didn't. I did it for two reasons. Number one, I didn't know how serious it was. I really didn't know how serious it was. And number two, I thought maybe that would be a wake-up call to Hawk. That if they're actually going to mirror this on TV, I need to clean up my act. But more importantly, bro, I didn't know it was that serious until I saw it with my own two eyes, and like that wouldn't come till months later.
Was he okay with it, or was he pissed?
No, he was fine with it. And again, bro, he might have been fine with it because he already knew he was in the doghouse. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So at that point, he might not want to ruffle any feathers, but he was absolutely cool with it.
WCW would do the same thing around this time with Scott Hall. I kind of didn't like either one. I was like, man, that's a little, I don't know, hits home a little too much. Because if it's not real, it's like, okay, it's just a storyline. But then it's real. Hawk really is having problems, and so is Scott Hall. So it's like, oh, that, I don't know, maybe pushing it too much. I know it's Attitude Era, it's edgy and stuff. But
yeah, no, but John, I understand that completely, and I understand completely why somebody would look at it that way. But like I said, on the other side of the coin, you would hope it would be a wake-up call. You know what I'm saying? You would hope that, Hawk is sitting back and saying, man, this is not a secret anymore. The Office knows about this. Now the fans are going to know about this. Maybe it's time to do something about it. That's what you would hope for. Because I think if that were me, like, and listen, bro, I've never been an addict to anything. Never, ever, ever. But I would just think if that were me, like that would kind of be my mindset.
And he had no problem with it at all. So had he had a problem, would you have guys have stopped it or no?
Oh, absolutely. No, absolutely. Yeah, bro. Whenever somebody really had a problem with something, you never made somebody do something that they didn't want to do because you knew, like, first of all, you knew they were never going to get it over. There's no way in the world they were going to go out there with all their heart and soul and get it over. So, the rule of thumb is, bro, you never make anybody do something they don't want to do.
And obviously McMahon was okay with it, right? I mean,
Oh,
obviously
yeah,
he would have
yeah,
told you nix it if he wasn't.
yeah.
So after that match, after LOD wins, thanks to draws, so a little intrigue there with LOD 2000. It's like, wait, draws is cheating. They're kind of not liking him, the Sunny thing. So it's at least something is going on with LOD after having a bit of a losing streak to the Outlaws for a while.
Yeah.
So then The Rock comes out, cuts a promo, making fun of the Milwaukee audience. Farouk comes out and attacks him, beats him up with a chair. Commissioner Sergeant Slaughter said Farouk and Rock do have a match later on tonight, and it will happen. Despite any injury, the match must happen. So, little intrigue there because it seems like that's a way to write Rock, who's the heel champion, off. But Slaughter says no, the match will happen. Any sort of significance? Do you remember like why doing that? Just a little tease, maybe?
Yeah, bro. I swear, bro, it's the complete opposite today because, bro, I can't tell you how many times today you got a hot crowd. You got a hot crowd. Bro, the people that are there at these Raw shows want to be at these Raw shows. You got a hot crowd. They're hot, right? And, bro, they do this like every other week. You got a hot crowd, and then they tease something, and then, oh, it's going to happen. It's going to happen, but it ain't going to happen here because you people aren't worthy. It's going to happen next week. You just F the crowd. You just totally F the crowd. I'd rather the crowd think they're effed and then you give it to them because then there's a double pop. You know what I'm saying? We're like, oh, crap, this match ain't going to happen. And Slaughter comes out, no, this match is happening. Now you get an even bigger pop. I hate when they do that today, bro, because I feel like, man, you can't shit on a crowd anymore. Like, we're not going to have the match this week because you guys don't deserve it, but we're going to have it next week in New Hampshire.
Right.
I hate that shit, bro.
So the next matchup, Jeff Jarrett with Tennessee Lee defeating Steve Blackman in about 10 minutes here. The finish comes when Tennessee Lee cheats, hits Blackman with the cane, and Jarrett pins him for the win. Any sort of like intrigue here? Or are you just trying to give Jarrett a nice little heel push with Tennessee Lee? I mean, what's going on here with this feud in this match?
Yeah, I mean, bro, the one thing that always held Blackman back was just the lack of charisma. It just held him back, bro. You gotta be equipped on both sides. And bro, like Robert Fulton was freaking awesome as Tennessee Lee. Like he was so good, bro. I mean, it was unbelievable. And of course, Jeff was always a great heel. So at this point, Jeff is probably more valuable as a heel to get more baby faces over. If Tennessee Lee cheats, it's not really going to hurt Blackman. Yep. So, I mean, I think that was probably the thinking going in.
So Jarrett, is he going to be thought of? I know because of the Austin stuff. Obviously, he's not going to be getting any sort of push towards the title or anything like that. But is it thought of like he's an upper mid card or main event?
Yeah, bro. I'll be honest with you, bro. That was really me pushing for a friend. I don't think Vince was ever a fan of Jeff Jarrett, and bro, I think a lot of it has to do with. There was a lot of Jerry Jarrett baggage, like Pritchard and Patterson would make fun of Jarrett like Jerry, like nonstop. They were instrumental in getting the dude fired. And here's why, bro. This is how wrestling always works. And this is why some of that stank rubbed off on Jeff, because the rumor was, bro, Jerry Jarrett was brought in while Vince was going through the steroid trial.
Yep.
And the thought was that Jerry Jarrett was going to kind of replace Vince if Vince had done any jail time. So what happened, bro? Vince brought Jerry Jarrett in over Bruce and Pat. Did the same exact thing with Cowboy Bill Watts. Same thing, bro. I witnessed it twice. And what do Patterson and Briscoe do? They get freaking Jarrett and Bill Watts fired. That's what you do, bro. So whatever they told Vince, Vince bought, Vince believed. Jerry Jarrett was fired, and now Jeff's got a little bit of that stench on him, where Vince McMahon sees him in just a certain role, and he's only going to go so far.
So the third match, probably your favorite of the evening, Mark Merrow versus a mystery opponent who will be chosen via Sable. So Sable said she will choose the mystery partner, except she came out and says, no, I do not need a man to do it. I'm going to do it myself. I am my own mystery opponent, or mystery guy or woman, or whatever you want to say. The mystery opponent is going to be Sable. So she is going to wrestle Mark Merrow. Merrow says, well, wait a second here. I know you're saying you don't need a man to fight you, but you're insisting this, like that you could do your fight yourself. But I'm just going to lay down and let you in. So he lays down, tricks her, pins her, beats her. Now that she lost, she's forced to leave the WWF. So not only did he screw her, he purposely beat her and lied to her because he wanted to get rid of her anyway because she's taking his spotlight.
Yeah.
Pretty good writing here.
Bro, I'm going to tell you this. Forget about the writing. And I appreciate that, John. Forget about the writing, because every time I see Merrow on TV with Sable, bro, throughout the entire Attitude Era, he had to be the most underrated guy. His performances, bro, with Sable were phenomenal, bro. The role that he played and the heat that he got, which turned to her being over massively. I mean, bro, Mark was handing it over to his wife like on a silver platter. I mean, he was doing it all for Sable. It got him heat with the boys, bro, because they didn't like a woman being so over. And man, no doubt in my mind, the most underrated performer during that era, without a shadow of a doubt.
I know we talked about this last time. You did not like him taking that power bomb, though, right? You said, even though it was his idea.
No, not me. The boys in the back hated it, bro. Absolutely. I didn't have a problem with it whatsoever. They hated it.
This was a funny swerve because you're like, wow, the husband, maybe he actually is going to be nice for once. Like, oh, maybe Merrow's not that much of a dick. And then he pins her. He really is that much of a dick. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he was hated at this point too, because obviously she was one of the most over acts. Yeah.
Bro, he was so good at what he did, bro. He was so good, bro.
Ever any thought of giving him a bigger push, like more towards the main event, or no?
Bro, I think because she was so hated and the boys were kind of taking it out on him, bro. The boys, I don't want to say the boys, but like one huge main eventer was in Vince's ear about Sable all the time. And because of that was going to feed back down to Mark, and Mark was never going to get his just due. Again, bro, these are the things in wrestling that, man, unless you're there, you just and see it for yourself, you just don't think these things exist.
Next match, Kai and Tai, Dick Togo, Men's Tao, and Sho Funaki with Yamaguchi-san defeated Justin Hawk Bradshaw and Take Michinoku in a handicap match in just about 10 minutes. Actually, a pretty good match here. The end, of course, Dick Togo because they got the advantage here. He ends up pinning Take Michinoku. Anything here as far as Kai and Tai?
I hated all this, bro. This is a deal they got with New Japan or whoever. I just hated all that. Bro, I always said this, and they turned this into, during the WCW lawsuit and Sonny Ono, this turned into a big, Vince Russo is racist gimmick, when all that I said was, as a writer, it is very difficult to get foreign speaking athletes over because there is a communication gap, and the shoe is on the other foot with United States wrestlers wrestling in Japan. It's on, when a fan can't understand the language, there's going to be a barrier. That's what I said. So you got a case here, bro, where you've got 3 Japanese guys and none of them can speak English. Now they have a manager and that really helps. But how in God's name are you going to get these 3 individuals over at the same time when, cutting promos is, taking out of the arsenal? Yeah, but again, bro, this was business, and this was, the deal with Japan. And so I went along with the flow and I wrote it.
Next up, The Rock defeats Farouk in about 5 minutes to retain his WWF Intercontinental Championship. It was funny because before the match started, they gave him the 10 count. He wouldn't come out. Commissioner says, if you don't come out, I'm just going to strip you of the title and give it to Farouk. So he comes out with a neck brace, like, come on, I'm hurt. What are you doing here? So he tries to get out. So, another little swerve, kind of trying to tease that he might lose because he's hurt. Of course, he ends up rolling up Farouk when he was distracted, kind of cheats and gets the roll up win to retain the title here. So, just classic heel stuff for The Rock. You think he might lose, and you guys kind of pull it away. He retains the title again.
I just hate because, bro, I'm watching the show yesterday, and Farouk did a run, and I'm just like, what? Why are we still using that ridiculous name?
Yeah, why not Ron Simmons?
I don't know. Like, I don't know, bro. I mean, when they kicked him out, it should have became Ron Simmons immediately, bro. I guess trademark, and all that, BS with Vince. I guess that had a lot to do with it.
Next matchup, Kane with Paul Bearer defeats Big Van Vader in a mask versus mask match. Match goes about 7 minutes, 20 seconds here. Kane, of course, gets the victory with the tombstone, gets a, just a nice little win over a pretty big star. But the only thing is mask versus mask is kind of weird because we know what Vader looks like. I mean, he takes the mask off all the time, right? But why mask versus mask?
It's funny, bro, because I just watched an episode last night where Paul Bearer proved through DNA testing that Kane is indeed his son. Taker, and Paul Bearer says, your mother was nothing but a 2-bit whore. And here comes, like, bro, no music, no nothing. Taker comes tearing ass, to the ring, starts getting on him, starts getting on Kane. And then Vader comes down to make the save. And it's funny, bro, because Vader's wearing the gimmick, and I'm saying to myself, why is Vader wearing that? Like, it's so ridiculous that he was wearing it. So maybe this was a way for him to take that off. But yeah, I agree 100%, bro. Pretty lame, pretty lame stipulation.
Is this kind of just wasting some time between Undertaker and Kane? Like, not wasting time, but just trying to stretch out where Kane and Undertaker don't have to wrestle every month.
Absolutely, bro. Yeah.
And obviously, maybe even teasing Undertaker and Kane joining together. I mean, that's kind of the big thing too. The Brothers of Destruction, which would be devastating to Austin, and if Vince gained control. So
one of my favorite things, bro. And I'm looking forward to seeing this during the Attitude Era shows. And I remember writing this, and I remember, like, bro, people are gonna go nuts when Kane came out, and then he took the mask off, and it was Taker.
Yes,
like I remember, like, that moment significantly. I can't wait till I can see it again to kind of see exactly how he did it.
That was awesome. And he had that long sleeve on, so you couldn't tell it.
Yeah.
I mean, same body type, so it looked exactly like Kane. Yeah.
Yeah, it was great. Yeah.
Next matchup, 6-man tag match here. The Nation, D'Lo Brown, Kama Mustafa, and Owen Hart with Mark Henry on the outside, defeated D-Generation X, Billy Gunn, Road Dogg, and Triple H with China and X-Pac on the outside. The match actually went 18 minutes and 30 seconds. So long match here, and the finish comes with a little cheating, a little chicanery, and Owen Hart gets the pinfall on Triple H after Triple H beat him for months. But just a funny thing that Owen Hart is in the Nation, and the Nation's getting a win here.
Yeah, and we did a lot of things with this program, bro. We did a lot. I'll remember, man. I'll never forget, bro. The one thing that DX poo-pooed, okay, was, bro, I was always looking to do things differently and get outside of the arena, okay? I wanted the Nation to challenge DX to like a flag football game. We were at like Penn State or something, bro. It was like a legendary field. And I wanted to have this football game going on throughout the show. And bro, I'll never forget, like, DX shit on it and they wouldn't do it. Because, bro, look who you had on the Nation. You had legitimate football players on the Nation. And, bro, like, let's face it. Do you think X-Pac ever played football in his life?
No.
Or Triple H? They look like these guys were stud athletes, but it just didn't look like football was their game. Aside from Billy Gunn. I could believe Billy played football. But bro, on the other side, you had Mark Henry, you had The Rock, you had guys that were like legitimate athletes, and DX would not do that. That was the only thing, bro, I think they ever turned down.
What about Owen in the Nation? Is that a weird kind of thing? Did you not know what to do at that point? Did you just want to be heel?
It's really weird, bro. And while I was watching it happen, man, I was still trying to think of like, why. Like, I know it was an uphill battle getting Owen over as a baby face. It was just really, really hard, bro, because there was really a thing of him being in Brett's shadow. Even when Brett wasn't there, bro, there was always that stigma. So I think somehow, some way, man, we just wanted to get him back on the heel side.
Then we got the main event of the evening. Awesome match here. Stone Cold Steve Austin defeats Dude Love in a Falls Count Anywhere match for the WWF World Heavyweight Championship. Match goes about 22 minutes, 30 seconds. Thing is here, not only is he fighting Dude Love, but Vince McMahon. Mr. McMahon is a special guest referee. Pat Patterson is a special guest ring announcer. Gerald Briscoe is the special guest timekeeper. And Undertaker's out there being the special guest enforcer as well, keeping things. So, I mean, man, this thing breaks down. Just the chemistry with Austin and Foley is awesome. Like, they always had great matches. Even the month before, and Unforgiven was awesome. Yeah. But there's so much going on in this match because sometimes you can like do a little bit of overbooking, but I feel like this was perfect because the crowd was hot for everything. Briscoe gets beat up, Patterson gets beat up by Undertaker, but they're both trying to cheat. Vince is trying to cheat. I mean, this is really, really well done.
Look at who you got laying out the match. Everybody you just listed. Bro, you got Vince, Austin, Mick, Patterson, Briscoe. You got all these unbelievable minds laying out that match. Think about that. But bro, when I hear some of the agents in WWE and AEW today, I'm like, honestly, like I said to myself, who in God's name did they ever beat? That their agents laying out matches.
Right.
Look at who's laying out this match. How could it not be a masterpiece?
So true. And the end is crazy because then Undertaker beats up Patterson. He beats up Briscoe. Austin takes a chair and wallops Vince. I mean, no hand up. I mean, he just destroys Vince.
Head on.
Oh, yeah. Huge. Destroys Vince with the chair shot. Dude Love is trying to really get Austin. You know what I mean? But on the outside, Briscoe gets destroyed. Patterson gets destroyed. Then all of a sudden, Austin kind of turns the tables, hits Dude Love with a stunner. There's no ref. He's unconscious. He takes McMahon's hand, and he counts to 3. And obviously, the timekeeper just got put through the table. Briscoe got put through the table by Undertaker. So Undertaker looks at Mark Eaton. He's like, you better ring that bell. He just won. And they ring the bell, and Austin wins. And how could Vince kind of fight it? Vince technically did count to 3. He was unconscious at the time, but he did count to 3 after Austin stunner Dude Love. So, I mean, this is real. I mean, this was great.
Bro, that was the fun. Like, let me make one thing perfectly clear, John. The laying out of that match, I have nothing to do with, zero to do with. But bro, the fun is, and we started off the show this way. The fun is really coming up with how we're going to get out of this.
Yep.
That's the fun. So while when I'm sitting at Vince's house, we're coming up with Austin taking, the hand 1, 2, 3. We're coming up with that, which, that's the fun of it, bro. Where how do you get out of this in a way where the audience is not going to shit on it? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, because as a fan, you're thinking like, wait a second, McMahon, there's no way he's going to count 3. Like Austin can't win. Yeah,
absolutely. Yep. Yeah. So that was really the fun part, bro. Like coming up with a finish and then figuring out, okay, bro, how do we have this make sense?
And the funny thing is, Austin doesn't hit him with the chair. Sorry, I meant Dude Love hits McMahon by accident. Austin moves out of the way, and he just wallops him with the chair after Patterson fed him the chair because he's trying to cheat and help win.
And that's gonna go. Oh, that's gonna go down a whole other path on TV the next night. That. Bro, you're telling me that I don't remember it, but I already know we're going down that road the next night.
So good, because then obviously like McMahon needs to regroup. He hates Dude Love now. He just hit him with a chair. He's done with him. He's pissed at Undertaker. He still hates Austin. Like, so he's gonna try to maybe get Kane on his but Kane is kind of thinking about Undertaker right now with the Paul Bearer stuff. So it's so interesting, but it's all kind of interwoven, and it's like, wow, you guys have a bunch of top guys at the top of the card, but then you got Vince, who's like the ultimate, like, what the hell is this guy gonna do next to try to screw Austin?
Absolutely. And bro, you probably would not have been able to build something like that with anyone other than Vince. I mean, absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt. So yeah, man, bro, he was such a great performer. Patterson and Briscoe was such great freaking performers, man. Those guys were just great at what they did, man. They were great at what they did.
So would you write something like, for instance, this and be like, all right, I'm writing this, Austin, Vince is the ref, blah, blah. How can he get out of this? And then Austin is saying like, all right, let's do this. Or is it's just a collab. Everybody's kind of throwing in.
No, we're kind of coming up with the finish during the week. So, that's big. And bro, at this point, it's me and Vince. So it's literally like me and Vince coming up with that finish during the week. Obviously, bro, we let Austin and Mick and everybody involved know the finish. So now they have a couple of days, bro, where, bro, even on that plane ride, they're thinking about how to get to the finish. That's the beauty, bro. You hear so much about TV written the day of or being changed the day of. The beauty back then, bro, was we wrote this show in a timely manner that these guys were thinking about the show by Thursday. So now they're thinking about it. They're on the plane. They're thinking about it. They may be calling each other. By the time you got to that building, Patterson had ideas, Briscoe, Mick, Steve, Vince, because they knew what the finish was going to be. And, that's the importance, bro, of getting the show written in a timely manner.
So what do you think overall the show? How would you grade it?
Well, bro, the way you describe that a finish and all the roads it leads down, nothing is perfect, bro, but I got to say it's up there at an 8 or a 9.
This was great to me anyway. It's funny when people go back and they watch it, like living it and watching it is completely different. And it's great because you're sucked into Austin McMahon and what is this guy going to try to screw Austin with over his next? I mean, he's like the ultimate, blue collar, putting his work boots on guy. You're rooting for this guy, and this asshole rich billionaire is screwing him over every week.
And how simple is that concept?
Oof, black and white. It's perfect.
Black and white, bro. Yep. Black and white. Simple.
All right, let's wrap it up. Head towards the plugs. You can follow me on
Twitter. Guys, check out russosbrand.com because like I said, man, every 2 weeks I review an episode of the Attitude Era, and literally the one I watched last night was 13 days before this pay-per-view. I'm going to record the show right after this. Man, bro, we've remained $4.95 a month forever. We've never raised prices. I think if you are a fan of the Attitude Era, you'd love this show. Check it out, russosbrand.com.
You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at 2Man Power Trip. Check out the website, tmptempire.com. Thank you so much, Vince. Thank you, everybody out there, for listening. See you right back here next time.
Thank you for watching the Hannibal TV. Please like this video if you enjoyed it and click the subscribe